Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to talk about what it actually takes to win, based on the work of Cody Sanchez. And let me tell you, this isn't your typical feel-good motivational talk. We are diving deep into the brutal, kind of uncomfortable truths that separate the real wins from just temporary success. Right off the bat, this quote just cuts right to the chase. The core idea here is powerful, and yeah, a little jarring. Winning isn't supposed to be gentle. It's not about finding some secret easy path. It's all about being willing to endure the hardship that most other people are running away from. And this slide really shows us why that suffering is part of the deal. To get ahead, you first have to accept that life, and especially business, is a competitive arena. You're not just playing against the rules of the game. You're playing against millions of other people who are after the exact same thing you are. So, to really understand this reality, we're going to break down 4 hard truths: the human game, the effort illusion, the competition delusion, and that big one, the passive income myth.
All right, first up, truth number 1, the human game. This is all about understanding that winning requires you to get really good at human psychology, especially when the pressure's on and things get tense.
So in any high-stakes situation, you're pretty much guaranteed to meet the same cast of characters. You've got the reactive responder, who just panics and snaps, the emotional empath, who gets caught up in everyone's feelings, the pleasing pushover, the doormat. Then there's the aggressive attacker, who bullies their way to a win, and the constant whiner, who's always the victim. Your first job is just to be able to spot these people. But your ultimate goal, it's to become that 6th person in the room, the strategic leader. This is the person who somehow stays calm and rational when everyone else is losing their minds. They're the ones steering the ship through the storm, holding the line when it feels like everything is about to fall apart. And this quote from investor Ben Horowitz just nails it. Being that strategic leader is all about cutting through the noise, the drama, the panic, the emotions, and just getting to what is actually factually true in a situation. That, right there, is the core skill. Okay, that brings us to our second big truth, the effort illusion. The idea that real success can look effortless from the outside. It's probably one of the most dangerous myths you can ever buy into. It all comes down to what's called the iceberg illusion. We see that little 10% sticking out of the water, the success, the accolades, the perfect Instagram feed. But what we don't see is the massive 90% hidden below the surface, all the grinding, the struggle, the failures that made that success possible. And this chart just visualizes that imbalance perfectly. It's like a duck swimming on a lake. Looks so calm and graceful on top, but underneath it's paddling like crazy. We are constantly comparing our own messy, behind-the-scenes journey to someone else's polished 10% highlight reel. And there are a couple of, mental traps or biases that make this illusion even stronger. First, there's the effort heuristic. That's our tendency to assume things came way easier for other people than they actually did. And second, there's survivorship bias, where we fixate on the one person who made it and we totally ignore the thousands who tried and failed along the way. Which leads us right into truth number 3, the competition delusion. This is when we just fail to grasp the sheer, mind-boggling scale of the game we're in. You're not just competing with a few other people, you're up against an absolutely staggering number of them. Just take a second and look at this number. Every single year, over 305 million startups get launched around the world. To think you don't really have any competition, that's not just being optimistic, it's a really dangerous delusion. And if you think, oh, that's a global thing, think again. Just in the United States, that number is still a massive 5.5 million new businesses in the last year alone. To put that in perspective, that's almost double what it was back in 2019. And here's the kicker. We all think we're the exception to the rule. This is the overconfidence effect in full swing. Studies show that a whopping 80% of us believe we're above average at, well, pretty much anything. But as this slide shows, the math doesn't lie. Only 50% of people can actually be above average. So what does this all mean? In a world with this much competition, where basically everyone thinks they're a genius, the one thing that truly sets you apart isn't your brilliant idea. It's you. It's your resilience. It's how much pain you are willing to endure to see it through to the end. And finally, we've arrived at our 4th and final hard truth, the passive income myth. Oh boy. It is time to tackle one of the most popular and honestly misleading ideas in the world of modern work. Yeah, the whole 4-hour work week thing, it's a fantastic marketing slogan, isn't it? But the reality for actual founders? Well, the data shows the average is closer to 52 hours a week. As you could see right there, that's about 13 times more work than the myth promises. And that term passive income? Let's be real. Data from the Federal Reserve shows that truly passive income, money you earn with literally zero active work, makes up less than 1% of all income in the US. Only about 11% of people earn any kind of passive income, and even that usually takes a lot of active management. The truth is blunt. Most of these so-called autopilot businesses like dropshipping have failure rates as high as 97%. To give you an example, Shopify's own data shows that 95% of its stores never even make a single sale. So the autopilot dream is for almost everybody just that, a dream. So after all these hard truths, what's the big takeaway here? It's actually pretty simple, but it's profound. You have to stop comparing your messy, behind-the-scenes reality to everyone else's perfectly curated highlight reel. You are seeing their finished movie while you're living your own raw, unedited documentary. And that brings us to the final and most important question of all. In this long, hard game we're all playing, endurance is the only strategy that really matters. It's going to take longer than you think, it's going to be harder than you think, and you will want to quit. The only way you can truly fail is if you stop. So the only question that matters is, will you?